Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebartogo.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss if a lightly bourbon-flavored, low-proof, bottled water could be a thing. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, as well as our special guests, Darren McRoy, Tim Howard, and Jeff Andreezy.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Howdy.
Hey, y'all. Hey-oh. So, yeah, we're going to be talking today about this idea of a lightly bourbon-flavored water. We'll get to that after the break. For right now, let's see. Darren said there's something you want to talk about. What is that, sir?
So I know I've mentioned this idea to Steve before and how cool it would be if it existed. So if there was a museum of the American alcohol industry, and I'm talking like Smithsonian level museum, well-funded.
Okay. Sure.
And each branch had each branch of the museum was a different spirit or beer or wine in the history of everything.
And then you've got like an area for other contributors, and they take like my hat and glasses and a Tommy Bahama shirt and my microphone. Yeah, of course.
What should be in the bourbon section of the American Tobacco or American Alcohol Museum?
Okay. What would be some artifacts specifically?
Some really cool artifacts that you've seen, some photos, who needs to be mentioned, anything that should be in there.
Okay. Dr. James Crow.
Yeah. Yeah, who's not in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. By the way, he made his whole living in Kentucky. It's ridiculous.
Maybe you should start a petition, Steve.
I know. Yeah, and
Dr. James Crow isn't in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame?
And it's a Beam brand, so, I mean, they can make it
now
happen.
It is.
Yeah, it is now, correct.
When they...
Yeah, that was when National Distillers closed. That was part of when they bought up all the olds. They actually bought up Old Taylor. Pretty much anything with old in it they bought. They've sold off some like Old Taylor, but the rest of that they kept. Old Overholt was part of that. Yeah, the olds.
So is there any memorabilia that you know of, Beka? Like a still that he used that's still hanging around somewhere? Or?
I mean, I've got some like old distillery stuff of theirs in here. Like I've got some old distilling like paperwork in here that Royce found in the distillery. I've got some old signs. I mean, there's so many like cool old Crow things. Like I have tons of memorabilia, and like we literally have like distilling like paperwork in here.
That's
that
cool.
Royce found. I've got it framed in here. So, I mean, like, there's that old stuff. I would imagine that I'm sure that there's different things floating around all over the place.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I just didn't know what you had in mind.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just like cool old stuff like that. Know what I put into it, Steve, is that those photos that Royce got off that random man of all that old distilling stuff.
Yeah. Those certainly could go in there.
A bunch of those photos could go in there.
Yeah. I mean, all that kind of stuff is cool. I mean, you'd have to have a hall of great distillers, where you have the big names are featured, almost like the Hall of Presidents at Disney. But you'd have the Hall of Distillers, and each one animatronic comes up. I'm Colonel H. Taylor, and I helped get the Bottled and Bond Act going. Yeah,
okay,
stuff like that.
That'd be great.
That would be great. That would be great.
No, I was agreeing. I was saying it would be great.
Fred No comes up and drops the F-bombs.
I was gonna say
Any
that's like
fucking
a
way you
real
want.
live
Yeah.
thing of them.
Yeah.
So like Jason is not going to be kid friendly, or you got to keep it real to themselves.
You got to have a disclaimer on the certain sections, right?
Sure.
Don't push this button if you have sensitive ears. Okay, so I'm going to go off the rails a little bit here.
Okay.
But I did hear the assistant master distiller at Jack Daniel's say, yes, we make bourbon. So how about the safe? How about the safe out of the office from Jack Daniel's?
Oh,
I doubt they would want to give that up, but yes.
I know.
That'd be a great artifact for sure. For sure.
Maybe if it was called the Jack Daniel's Museum of Alcohol.
Right. No.
if we made it more like an Epcot, you could have a whole ride like through a still, like it's distilling.
Oh, that's cool.
That'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
The distilling ride.
Those air flyover videos, flyover rides where you're sitting on there and air's blowing in your face.
The IMAX version.
There you go.
I was thinking just like going through the actual still. It's like being distilled.
Yeah.
It's like being distilled. Yeah, it's warm at some
It's
parts.
a water ride for sure.
Yeah, splashing in others. Sure.
Splash Mountain, but Distill Mountain.
Distill Mountain. Yeah, okay. That would be cool. What else would be good in there?
So there's two main things I really thought of that were integral to where we are at whiskey now and starting this whole craft movement. Because, there's a ton of history from all this older stuff, but we got to think of like the people that also helped start this craft movement. And so the two that came to my mind were some sort of cool memorabilia from Leopold Brothers.
Okay.
Starting in 99, they're one of the older ones to restart. And then in particular, I want the original still that Garrison Brothers started distilling on.
Oh, yeah.
Because it wasn't
it's down there. It's still operational. They're still using it.
Oh, they're still using it?
I saw it, yeah.
They can get a new one, and we can have that one in a museum. Because
it's
he
like
won it in a card game.
Right.
And it was used by Elmer T. Lee, right? Isn't that?
Right. Who got it actually from Wild Turkey that they won in like a horse race bet or something. So it's been passed around a little bit. There's some history there.
But to not have that in the American Alcohol Museum would be wild. I think that is just a cool piece of American and whiskey history that everyone needs to see.
I think it's cool still in use.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was still in use. I thought they outgrew it. I really...
No, it's like being used now as like a doubler or something, or I think is how they're using it. So, yeah, it's down there still working. So, which Garrison Brothers is an interesting place. It's just, you can't even believe that place is real. You go there and it's, middle of nowhere, wine country in Texas, which is weird to think about. But I mean, there are a shitload of everything's big in Texas. And I bet you there's 100 wineries in this area. I mean, they're everywhere. There's only one distillery. And it's them. And then they do these bottling parties. And it's like a 5-year wait to get involved, and it's hundreds of people, and they feed them like breakfast and lunch, but they work them like dogs, like they're bottling for like 8 hours, and you do have to do like 2 days, and then they're like really like it's so desired to be like they'll call you and be like, hey Darren, do you want to your name came up finally. You want to come into a bottling party next Friday? And you're like, let me call my wife or boss or whatever. And they'll be like, nope. Well, you can figure that out later. We're asking you right now. Do you want to do this or not? If not, we'll put you for 5 more years. We can wait. Wow. And so they're like, get them down there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild.
Awesome.
To go work like a dog. This is what I don't understand. I've done bottling and shit like that. I don't want to do it.
That sucks.
It does suck.
I hate bottling.
Me too. It's terrible.
Fucking hate it.
Yeah. So everything's manual, but they just get free labor to do. They got to figure it out.
Wow.
And what's so cool is I would assume those become loyal customers.
Yeah.
Oh, no
You're a
doubt.
loyal customer before you do it, actually. If you're that wanting to do it, I think you're already in.
Yeah. But there's a difference, too, between loyal customer and all of a sudden they only have your stuff. It's there's you can get people to go to the next level. So
I guess
an evangelist, so to speak.
Yeah,
an evangelist.
Yeah. I mean, we see it with Neely. It's like, oh, you want to see my Neely shelf? And you see, it's like 50, 60 bottles. It's like
You couldn't get a lot of Neely on a damn shelf.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience.
But you would assume they're drinking it, some are disappearing, but there's so many on the shelves.
There are some people who we have one customer who he comes in anytime we post anything, he comes in and gets a bottle every single time. And I assumed that he probably has a huge Neely shelf at home.
Right.
And then him and his wife came in. This was just a couple months after we released the old Jet Brothers, like the full first lineup. And they had bought the whole first lineup. And then they came in, I guess it was probably 4 months later. And this guy's name is Steve. No coincidence there. And he's like, yeah, I need a restock. And I'm like, you need a restock on what? He's like, well, I drank all of my old Jet Brothers. And I'm like, you drank it all? He's like, well, yeah. What do you think I've been doing with all the bottles I get? And I'm like, I guess I assumed you were making a shelf. And they're like, no, we down everything that we get here like immediately. It's gone in like a week unless we buy a bunch. And I'm like,
that's like your buddy Tim from Alaska.
Yeah, they get every single bottle. They drink all of it.
That's true, yeah.
And I'm not surprised because they are party animals, but still, I kind of was like, oh, okay, he just loves our product. And so he just fucking drinks the shit out of all of it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's the customers you want, right? That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Well, on that note, guess what? It's time for us to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Jeff.
All right. Well, I'm trying to keep Beka on my good side so she can keep picking on Darren. So I've got some Neely Sweet Thump Rye.
Love that.
Oh.
Okay.
Quiet
and squeaky.
Trying to keep her on your good side with that performance, Jeff?
That was embarrassing.
Jeff is always on my good side, just by the way.
Okay. So there you go. There you go. Rye 3 cigar series. So here we go.
Oh, good stuff.
Whoa! Did you see me avoid the talkover there? I slowed my roll to avoid the talkover. Jeff was trying to interfere, and then I came with an explosive cork pop. Explosive.
That was a horrible attempt at a talkover. That's caught my. As soon as I said it, I said, "Oh God."
Yeah. All right. What do you got there, Darren?
I have some Dancing Goat Tommy's Malted Bang Dog from the ABV Barrel Shop.
Okay. Not enough to knock me off. I'm the leader. Tim's next.
I've got some investment whiskey finished in port cask.
Okay. No, not enough. Not enough.
We heard something that time.
We did hear something. He's improving. So Beka is last but not least.
I've got some Kings County Distillery. Their barrel strength straight bourbon.
Okay. Good, but not as good as mine. I won that one fair and square.
Typical
Cheers.
of Steve.
Cheers, Steve.
Cheers to me. Cheers to me. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, bourbon, bottled water. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. Practice session. Here we go.
What?
Just say it. It's recording. You don't have to press anything. Don't press it.
Can I get the words?
No. Go ahead, Joe.
Can I get the words?
No.
Welcome to the Earth Daily. Today we are talking about what we are going to talk about on the Bourbon Daily.
Nailed it.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about bourbon bottled water, Steve.
Yes, we are. So here's the idea. Now, we don't want anything that is picked up to be drank to get drunk. It's not that. This actually comes from Lenny, who has water every day. He has one of those water things that you carry around. You see these people that have these things. It's like an attachment. Tim's got one. He leaves it at the shop half the time.
I do.
It's our responsibility to keep track of Tim's thing when he leaves it there. So one of those water bottles. So he carries that thing around. And but with Lenny, he puts a couple drops of bourbon in there just to give it a little hint of bourbon flavor. So, and again, he's a master distiller. He's got a pretty refined palate. The rest of us might need more than a few more drops based on that size container. But just to add a little bit of bourbon flavor to it. Nothing that necessarily hits the proof scale, but I do think it would have to be sold to those 21 and older, just because it has any presence of bourbon whatsoever. But, it might not even qualify for that. I mean, you look at non-alcoholic beer does have some. It can have less than 0.5%. If it has to have less than 0.5% alcohol by volume, which I assume this water would be that. We're talking about something just to give you a flavor of bourbon, not meant to drink to get drunk. Do you guys think that would fly?
So, what's the difference between this idea and non-alcoholic whiskey over ice?
Have you ever tasted non-alcoholic whiskey?
Because that's for losers.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that stuff that it's been distilled with no alcohol or how I don't know what the process is.
It tastes.
It's terrible.
How is this going to taste any better though? It's just going to taste
because
like
it's
slightly off flavored water.
Bourbon flavored
Are we
water.
Put one lemon slice in our water and call it good.
It was funny because I was just gonna shred this up, Steve. Until now. Now I'm pro.
That's a great idea.
Flavored water. Yeah, I'm like actually about it. Now that Darren's like, I know it sounds kind of stupid. I'm like, no, actually, I think it's a pretty good idea. Actually, I think it's a great idea, Steve. I think that Lenny's really onto something. I think he's onto something. I think that you should trademark this or whatever the fuck it is, copyright it. I don't know, whatever it is. And I think it should be sold in every single distillery in America. Better
You're
than
gonna trust a guy that doesn't like fish on what you should have on a daily basis? Or no, he likes fish. He doesn't like sandwiches. Fuck.
He doesn't like sandwiches. He likes tinned fish.
It's the next evolution of the water additives that are really popular everywhere, either the powders or the liquids.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's a great idea, especially if you're gonna water down your bourbon with bourbon.
Exactly. It's just the idea that I like a little bourbon kick to it, a little bourbon flavor there. It's not meant to be
a little.
It's not an alcoholic drink. It's meant to just give you a little essence of bourbon as you're drinking.
Yeah, little oak, little caramel, some brown sugar. I mean, I think it's a great idea.
What's wrong with that? Yeah.
Who would be the target audience of this product?
Every person that drinks bourbon.
I already got it. Liquid Death. I'm coming up. I'm getting my flavor profile right. I'm going to Liquid Death, who has a high-end customer, and be like, hey, I've got this licensing deal. It's a licensing deal. You guys can do this. And I think in those cans, and I think with who their customers are and what they're paying for these, they're paying more than $1 a can on sale. I think it's a thing. I think it could be a thing.
So I'm wishing I would have tested this theory today. I was out mowing and I had some water. Why didn't I just sample
Let's try a few drops in there and see.
Yeah.
See what.
We figure out the ratio and
I think where Darren's going wrong, he's like substituting, like, okay, like I invite this group over. I'm like, everybody kind of bring your own stuff, but we're drinking at my house tonight. And I'll buy the food. And then I think Darren's thinking that, Becca's going to make an old fashioned, Jeff's going to be drinking whiskey neat, and Tim's going to have, a couple barrel picks, and Darren's thinking someone's going to bring the water, and they'll be like, "This is."
Darren's actually excited because he's like, "Oh, perfect! I can bring the water."
Right? Yeah.
He's like, "I brought bourbon, guys. It's just already fucking diluted down to 0.00%."
It's not to replace your bourbon; it's to replace your water. That's what it. That's
it's so you're still drinking your water. You're still being hydrated. As a hippie that you are, Darren, you should fucking like this idea.
So I just tried it because we're like, why didn't we try it? So I took my water glass and tried it. It's actually fantastic.
You didn't know. Hold on. You didn't know what water with a dash of bourbon tasted like? Have you never? Hold the fuck on, Darren. Have you never put water? So on a barrel pick, this is a very common practice on a barrel pick. Right. You maybe only have one glass. You might only have one Glencairn, or you're just at a distillery and you're tasting a bunch of things, and they go, "Here's some water you can rinse out your glass with." You put the water in. You drink that water that you just rinsed the glass with.
Perfect example.
For We've all done flavor when I'm doing that. I just drink it to stay hydrated.
I don't know what that tasted like.
Yeah, you don't. You shut off your taste receptors to do this. Is there some system that you have? You're just like boop boop boop. Oh, it's shut down. All right, let me do this.
I do not know how it tastes.
Throw it back like a shot. I don't savor it. This is savorable
You should.
water.
It's really the true essence of the bourbon. Now you've actually watered it down completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
Completely. They say that you should water down your bourbon to 30% alcohol just to get the right flavors on it.
Right. It's interesting to say that. We asked Craig Beam that. Actually, Jeremy Shelton. Craig Beam chewed him out.
Really?
It's great. It's on the Bourbon Show podcast. It's on. He asked. He's like, "Well, you proof that down to 20 or something?" He's like, "Fuck no. What are you talking about?"
I never do that ever.
Right,
but
they say it down.
They say to do that to get all the flavors, which I'm like, I never drink it that way anyways, so I don't know why I need to proof it down that much. But
lit Jeremy up. It was great because I've always heard people say they do that and stuff when they're tasting. But man, Craig Beam,
interesting.
No, definitely not. He's drinking it as it comes out of the barrel. Yeah.
That's the appropriate way to drink it.
Yeah.
I think my shower bourbon might get a little splash of water in there, but usually it's a straight pull right out of the bottle.
Shower bourbon.
That's the site. So what do we think? So since I'm on board now,
okay.
What do we think is the best bourbon to use? Are you using something cask strength, something that's already low proof?
Think of how easy it would be to get Darren into a cult.
Right.
Darren is so cult worthy. It's not. They're like susceptible that it's not even funny. He's I'm very against it. Actually, I'm in.
Now he's trying to get the fine details to get the company rolling here.
How are we going to do this? Actually, you obviously do cask strength though, Darren, because you're literally watering it down.
Right. Yeah. Why would you pay?
Why
would you pay for something that's been watered down? You're doing cask strength, of course.
Cask strength, pot distilled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cask strength, 0.001% bourbon water.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess assume if it comes in less than 0.5%, you can sell it in the grocery store anyway.
You could call it between the pick.
Okay. There you go.
Because when you're picking a barrel and you're cleaning out your glass, you get that.
No. People shut their taste receptors off.
Oh, I forgot that no one even fucking tasted at that point.
You don't even taste that. Yeah, you don't taste that.
Yeah, between the pick is a dumb name. Never mind. Darren would never buy onto that.
No, you don't taste that water. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I can't believe you even suggested that. Yeah. I don't. So there you go, Lenny. Wouldn't it be great if the five of us decided? Well, we'll even let Mandy. Mandy's in because she happens to be sitting there. It'll be the six of us. We decide to do this, and it becomes like a multi-billion-dollar company that we sell off to.
And Lenny's pissed.
And Lenny's just pissed.
Lenny tries to sue us, but we're worth $60 million at this point. So he's got no fucking cash flow to actually work against us. We're gonna go on Shark Tank.
Right.
Steve, you got to mix up a couple bottles and just have a little shelf in the shop.
Sure. That can't go wrong for us.
No.
No.
So if you were to go to a restaurant tomorrow and be like, "Can I get just a drop of bourbon in a glass of water?" what weird looks would you get though? Like I think it's a little weird.
To be fair, bartenders hear the weirdest shit all the time. So I don't think that they would even be phased. Like bartenders hear such weird stuff they're like not phased whatsoever by stuff. They'd be like, "Yep, I get it. I want to be a drunk as well." Yeah, they're just like, "I wish I was drinking too, but you can't." So I get it.
Yeah, Darren.
Yeah,
well, and
they probably already had one that day. Honestly.
Yeah. So based on this feedback here today, I think, and we even converted Darren over, so anti. Yeah.
We need to get someone though who's like if we got Wes Harden to sign on, then I would actually truly believe this would work. Darren signing on does not mean anything to me.
Yeah. Might go down like the Titanic.
Yeah, I just mean it's not like I'm not like wow. Well, I mean Darren didn't believe in it, but now
we got Darren on. We got Darren on board.
I can just see me on the infomercial now. I was a firm denier of this, and then I tried it, and my whole life changed. And for the price of $29.99, you can get 3 bottles of between the pick or whatever.
And here's the thing: is you could have so many different distilleries too.
Right.
Yeah.
Hot distilled.
Yeah.
Rye, bourbon.
Rye. You can have 4 grain. I mean, it's all going to be different flavor profile.
Have some fun in there.
Right.
That's true. What about? And you work with somebody like Four Roses and be like, we know that there's some left, like when you got your limited edition release in the barrels. Just give us those barrels. We'll sweat it out of there what we need, and then we'll do a Four Roses limited edition release. Again, not costing you any of the stuff you're sending out. We just give us the barrels. We'll figure it out how to get that out of there.
And then you sell it right along with your barrel pick.
Yeah.
Oh, you're buying a bottle? Would you also like to buy a 6-pack of your bourbon flavored water?
Right. Yeah, of course. It's a thing. So there you go. We're just throwing it out there into the universe. We'll see if someone jumps at it. So yes, we'll see. So there you go. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Tim, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Facebook, Tim Howard. That's me.
All right, Jeff.
You can find me putting drops of bourbon in my cat's water on Instagram and Facebook. Jeff Andreezy, 2 I's, 2 Z's.
Okay, the cat would probably a couple drops might go a long way. Might help the cat out. Of course, that's a pretty young cat. She's fine. As you get a little older, though, they always talk about people self-medicating with it helps. You give me a couple bourbons in my system, I can start moving a little bit better. So that's true.
You're like cousin. You're like Herbie.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
I'm on the brink of death. Give him a little bit of moonshine, and he's all set up dancing, playing spoons.
Yep. Yeah. Brought him back from his deathbed. So that happens out there. All right, Darren, how about you?
If you have any good Colts, you can reach out to me at The Bourbon Adventures because I'll probably join them.
Any good Colts? I'm looking at getting into the racehorsing scene, and if you got any good Colts out there, send them to me.
You have your Costco card with you, Darren?
Right. That's a cult. Costco's definitely a cult. Yeah. Miss Beka Sue, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website, abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Also, please come by and see us, the ABV Barrel Shop. We're always getting picks in. We got a bunch on the way. I mean, we're sitting at, 30, 40 for the year or something. And those numbers are going to get ready to explode. We've got all kinds of them coming in. So check out online what we got going on at abvbarrelshop.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you to visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. Fartins will have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing, the ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.